Welcome to the Fans In Sports Show. But thank God I'm not a Florida fan. Just out here looking trash.
People call me crazy for saying they had 6 losable games on their schedule.
That's where I picked y'all preseason.
So I don't know how, but somehow they got some excitement around their program right now.
Welcome to the Fans In Sports Show, hosted by your guys, 2 and 6 Mike and your boy Terry, man. What's going on, Terry? How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great tonight, brother. How's your night going, man?
Man, I'm hanging tough. I can't complain at all, man. Just over here about to tweet this stuff out for the show, man. So what do you think about talk to me about some college football, man? How was you feeling after this bye week?
Man, this has been the craziest year of college football I can remember. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you said a bye week for Ohio State, dude, but that was a crazy week of college football still.
Facts.
I mean, I can't wait to get into some of these games, man. Like, obviously Georgia, Texas, that was a crazy game as expected to be. Just tons of other ones, man. We could just go ahead and get into it. I know you got some stuff you wanted to talk about here. Let me see.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, this platform, mostly Buckeye fans, right? So it's only right for us to go ahead and talk about what's the Ohio State vibes going around. And, you know, you got Nebraska this week, big noon kickoff. The way Indiana kind of kicked Nebraska around kind of lost a little bit of that luster, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, I mean, and the fact that they weren't ranked, hey, I got to get an AP poll credit, man, because they shouldn't be.
Nah, I agree, man. I agree with that. I think we both started off here trying to tweet the show out, guys. So sorry, we're going to lock in here. Me and Mike just kind of started the show without tweeting it. So let's see here. All right, Mike, you want to talk about some Ohio State vibes. Let's start there, dude. Let's just start with Ohio State. And it's kind of crazy because I don't really know where the vibes are at right now. It's tough. Like, it depends on who you are. Like, obviously, Ohio State lost to Oregon. We're not going to get into that, but that's a vibe kill. Everybody, You know, that as a Ohio State fan, that sucked. And with it being a big game, we ain't won one in so long. It's like, dang, is this ever going to happen? But there's a lot of things being talked about around the program right now that are the things that we've kind of been calling for. And I just don't know whether to believe them or not, dude. Like, are they lying to us like they do sometimes? Or is this one of those things where we're actually going to see some change? I mean, you know, one of the big things is the defense just kind of getting more pressure. And Ryan Day kind of put it out there like, look, we're not doing what we're supposed to do. And it seemed like he was like not happy with his staff, which obviously he's not, but he doesn't come out and say that the way that he did. So what do you think about that?
Here's my thing. What were you doing all off season, right? I mean, you say that he's not happy with the staff, but all off season, what did he talk about? Getting the right guys on the staff, right? Mm-hmm. Having the right guys in the room, right? And you know, we had stars talking about, like, you know, it looked like the safeties don't look like how they looked last year. Things like that, you know, but you got the right guys in the room, right? You know, so, I mean, I don't know how the vibes are. You would definitely hope that they were able to fix everything. My thing is, you know, you see cracks in the dam, right? You don't wait till the floodgates just go ahead and open up or whatever, right, and it just breaks before you start fixing it. You know, like, you can patch leaks here, and, you know, just hearing from past coaches or you know, players and stuff. Even if Alabama won, if your position group or something did not have like a good week, or there was like a crack in the dam, you did not get to feel comfortable that week. And
exactly,
you know, this is why, like, you know, people sit here and say, oh, Ohio State, they won by this many, and, you know, fans aren't happy, and, you know, all of this stuff. And it's like, because why do we see more potential in you than you see in yourself?
Exactly. That's the problem. they're telling us that they see it, Mike, but I don't know if I believe them. I mean, I believe that they see it, but I don't know if they're going to make changes to actually fix it. And I mean, Ryan Day seemed like he was trying to challenge Jim Knowles and Larry Johnson to me, like, look, figure this out, whatever it is, obviously they're not going to do a complete overhaul, but something has to change. And I don't know if I believe him, dude. I just don't know.
You got one side of it's funny. You got one side of the fan base that's on like Larry Johnson. You got one side of the fan base that's on Jim Knowles. And I'm sitting here like, guys, neither one I think you should be going after. It's Ryan Day for not whatever. Yes. If this is a thing, for not fixing this crap 2 years ago, to be honest with you. I mean, so in this offseason, you had to, everybody want to say, oh, Larry Johnson fell off and stuff. Ryan Day had the opportunity to fix that. Oh, if you think that Jim Knowles isn't ready for this season, you had the opportunity to fix all of this stuff in the offseason, right? So,
and this offseason was CEO Ryan Day.
Yeah.
So there's no excuses, right? This is the stuff that he's talking about now is what we expected starting the season. And it just didn't happen, dude. So I don't know whether to believe him now or not. I mean, where are you at right now with Ryan Day overall as Ohio State's head coach?
Here's the thing, man. Everybody who, I remember everybody was on the fire Ryan Day train and everything. And I was the one like, nah, chill out. It's a young coach. Chill out, man. And I want to give him those opportunities. But it's the things that I see. Like I told you guys, I'm not blaming Will Howard at all for that game. I'm not. Here's the thing. Will Howard has came here and did exactly what he was asked to do and be himself. My issue is this guy not really strong with the deep ball. I feel like we've been asking Ryan Day every week about the deep ball. And then, I heard like Will Howard in the interview talk about it and say, hey, got to take what the defense give you. But Terry, me and you have watched film. Has the deep ball been there where guys are wide open?
It has, dude. It has. And it's like that.
So it's like hard for me to trust the coaching staff.
No, I agree with you. And that's one thing that is so hard to talk about right now, Mike, but you know me and you know that I want to talk about it is it's unfortunate that in a game like the one that we played against Oregon, you need big plays. You need momentum. Imagine what a deep ball would have done to the Oregon crowd. They would have got quieter. It would have been hard, and I know if the game was close, they would have been in it the whole game. I get it, whatever. But it's still a fact that in those big time games, momentum changing plays are huge. And Ohio State was not able to generate any of those against them except for the one Travion Henderson run in the very beginning of the game. And I mean, they kind of went away from that style running after that overall. So I don't know, man. I think that when we get into those types of games and into the playoffs, especially like the playoffs, you're going to need to be able to hit those deep balls in order for this offense to be effective. That's how I feel. I've always felt that way, though.
And we thought, they giving James Peoples these carries or whatever, right? Getting him ready. And he looked ready, right? And obviously you have an injury in Quinshon Judkins. And you just say, hey, let's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, trust your depth. That's what you went here and got this guy for. This is why you go get the top guys. And I mean, it blows my mind when I see young guys at other places making plays. And it's like, how can they not use this against us in recruiting, bro? So, I mean.
And that, that goes back to like the whole Denzel and Jermaine conversation from the last game. Like we've been screaming it from the rooftops, it seems like, Mike, that if you got young talent and they're good enough to play, they need to play, and they need to play sometimes even if they're not good enough to play, because that's how they get better. But especially the ones that can actually contribute, like Jermaine Matthews is capable of making a big time momentum play, like how I talked about before, in a game. And it's just like in the games that actually matter, he doesn't get out there anyway. So I don't know. They got to tighten that up, man. That's, to me, that part just kind of feels like us complaining. You know what I mean? Like if they're not going to put the players on the field, then we got to go with the players that are on the field and hope that they can at least do the right thing with them. So I think that's where my focus is like, we need to make sure that we're putting our players in position to make plays. And it seems like Jim Knowles has not been doing that. So
facts, big facts, man. But we hope the Buckeyes can get it together. I'll tell you this is my concern, especially for the fan base, right? We watched how Indiana handled Nebraska. If Ohio State does not do that, how do you think that people are going to react?
See, I don't think it even matters, to be honest. I mean, there'll be people like probably on Twitter that will react in an upset way if that happens. But I just want to see Ohio State get better at the things that they're not good at, the things that cost them in the Oregon game. Like, give me a mistake-free game where you at least attempt 2 deep balls and the defense is getting after the quarterback. Give me that right there and win the game. That's it. I don't care if you know, if obviously if it came down to like a nail biter, like Ohio State wins on a last second field goal, we're talking about something different, right? I don't expect that to happen. But if they beat them instead of 56-7, they beat them 17, or they beat them 38-17, I'm cool with it. I won't really care. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. I feel it. You got anything else to say about the Buckeyes?
No, man, we can move on. I'm good. Hey,
all right, y'all. Hey, we're gonna move on from the Buckeyes for now, though. For now, we're gonna probably end up circling back around in our next topic, man. But I think that there's basically like one big matchup this week. You could say that maybe previous years, but there's some other big matchups or whatever that could be sneaky, and we see how some teams are. How are they going to respond? I want to give you one matchup that I think is sneaky. At Wisconsin. What if they're peeking around the corner? You know what I'm saying? Penn State at Wisconsin. I think
that game could be a sneaky good one, Mike. I'm sorry to interrupt you, brother, but that could really be a sneaky good one because Penn State, I mean, they're known for playing like 2 good teams every year, and they lose to both of them. This year, they only got Ohio State on their schedule, really, and that's it. And this is right before the Ohio State game.
Yeah.
Dude, Wisconsin's not no good, though.
Bruh, I mean, to be honest, Wisconsin didn't look really good in like the beginning of the season, but I feel like they kind of been finding a stride. You know, because their quarterback went down and everything in the beginning of the season and everything. So yeah, I feel like they're starting to find their stride on offense and on the defensive side of the ball. If I go back and look up this Wisconsin game, I mean, I know it was probably against nobody, but I think that they had put up pretty good points, man. Yeah, I mean, 42-7 on Rutgers defense. They went 52-6. I mean, when you're supposed to be handling teams like you're supposed to, they did that. So, I mean, I think if they was to play, they play USC early, obviously, but I think if they was to see USC again, bruh, USC would not want that smoke, bruh. They would not want that smoke.
USC had a little momentum in the beginning of the year and thought they were like that, and then it just all fell off a cliff. So, I agree with that take. Hey, man, that could be an exciting game. That's, if you guys are watching, definitely watch that game because, obviously, if it gets out of hand, whatever. But I don't think it will. I don't think Penn State is that kind of team this year where they can take a team like Wisconsin and really put them away.
Let's see. What time is that game? That game is that's a 6:30
and it's
kickoff NBC at Wisconsin, boy. It's gonna be rocking.
It's gonna be
lit, jump around. Hey. I got another game for you, Terry. Tell me, what do you think? Texas coming off of a terrible loss at the crib, man. Getting smacked by Georgia. Having that number one seed momentum. But here's my thing: did you mess up the confidence of your quarterback going into this week? So, I mean, Texas, Vanderbilt. I mean, because think about it. We remember seeing how Cardell Jones and JT Barrett was playing when they looking over their shoulder. If I make a mistake, you're going to pull me? Like, it doesn't always work out that well.
Yeah, I agree. And honestly, dude, Sark putting Arch in that game. Excuse me, Sark putting Arch in that game showed Quinn Ewers that you can get pulled at any time in any game, dude. Because that was the biggest game of the year. So obviously, that I don't know, man. Unless he's iron in the mind, I could definitely see that messing with him. And I mean, I don't know if Quinn can't throw the ball downfield. Just to talk a little bit about that game, but it really seemed like Texas just needed to throw the ball downfield to open up their offense, because Georgia was just blitzing them and sitting on all those little short routes that Sark likes to do. And whenever they threw it downfield, good things happened. Like, I don't even know if they completed any deep balls, but I think they had 2 PIs when they threw the ball downfield. And it's just like, you guys need to change it up, because honestly, I put that game on Sark more than I put it on Quinn. Most people have been blaming Quinn, but also that's Texas fans who want Arch Manning to play. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's going to be easy for them to blame it on Quinn, but Sark, excuse me. I called him Shark, dude. Sark needed to mix it up and start throwing the ball downfield, and they just never did it, dude. And Georgia never really had to adjust what they were doing. So, sorry, I know I just went off on a tangent about Texas, but you brought that up and made me think about that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about that. And they're gonna be at Vanderbilt, and also I don't know if you've seen, but Vanderbilt has put a big net over the visitor because Texas is known for throwing stuff on the field, man. Is that not crazy? And they're thinking about keeping it up for the Tennessee game.
I've seen the picture of it. It looks crazy, dude. Like, you're not used to seeing something like that at a football game.
It's like if you're at a baseball game,
yeah, right. But I doubt that was gonna happen at an away game. I don't know, man.
Hey,
that seems dramatic.
They're known for it. Hey, I'm not paying the fine for you.
I mean, to be honest, it's just for that.
I don't know if it's just Texas fans, but I mean, think about it. Like, we didn't see like Tennessee fans. Remember they were throwing the mustard. Like, I mean, it's just something that it's something about them teams with the T's, man. They always throwing something.
the T's and the orange.
Yeah, it's something about them orange folks. And we got another game before we get to the other big game. Some people are saying Mizzou at Bama. I'm not seeing it at all. I'm just not. I don't have any faith in this Mizzou team. I'm sorry. Maybe other people do, but I have no faith in Mizzou. So I got Bama winning that handily.
I don't have faith in this Bama team, though, dude.
I don't either.
I think there's a lot of dysfunction on that team, and I think that they could lose to anybody. But if they fix the dysfunction, whatever it is that they have, if they can get it right, that team has so much talent, dude. It's crazy. And they could really just at that point go win out and be a national contender, obviously. But I mean, I think we talked about this last week, Mike, or I might have talked about with Ron and them on the Buckeye roast. But this is an elimination game for Bama, dude. That if they lose, they're not getting in the playoffs. Like, there will not be a three-loss team in this playoff.
I mean, we're gonna end up getting into that in a few minutes, man. We're definitely about to get into that talk in a few minutes about eliminations. So, the big game, and I honestly want to say this also goes into our next one, man. And we might as well just go ahead and get into the next segment. We're gonna talk about the big game. So, Y'all know what I like to say. Let's put it on the record. Yeah. So this is our put it on the record segment. The race for the CFB playoffs, right? Now you see the title. That's what this is about, man. The race for it. And starting, we just go start in the SEC because I think the biggest game for this week is coming out of SEC. And you have LSU, who I think is also fighting for SEC championship, going up against at Texas A&M. Guess what? Texas A&M, I think, is the only one in the conference without a loss.
An in-conference loss?
In-conference loss.
LSU doesn't have one either. Their only loss is to USC, right?
Oh, yeah.
Facts. Yeah, one of these teams is getting their first conference loss today.
Yeah.
Or this weekend, sorry. I mean, I think LSU might be like a national contender. But I also said that before they lost to USC. If you remember, actually on this show, I said that I thought they were going to be a national contender, and they got smacked up by USC. And then I was like, oh, well, maybe not. But
yeah.
But I still think that, man. I think they're, with Nussmeier and the receivers that they have, that team is dangerous, and they got a lot of really good athletes on defense. So, I would take LSU to win this game. What do you think?
I mean, they definitely hitting a stride, and Texas A&M only loss that they had was at the beginning of the season to Notre Dame, right? New everything, right? Rebuilding, but now they look like what? They hit their stride on offense, they was putting up 52, able to fight through some stuff. They had to figure out the quarterback situation, which has still kind of been iffy, but it looks like they're going to go with Weigman. I mean, hey, I don't know, man. I don't know. They had a close game with Arkansas, but Arkansas beat Tennessee. We seen that. They boat raced Mizzou. What was that? Was that at home or no? That was, yeah. They boat raced Mizzou. Mizzou didn't even look like they deserved to be on the field. But then they had a tight game a little bit with Mississippi State, but they pulled it out one by 10.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's one of those teams that when they're quiet in the media, that's kind of when you have to worry about them. Like, you haven't really heard nothing about them all year. At least I haven't. Maybe SEC fans are getting more of that, but I mean, I haven't heard much about them at all. Anything I hear about the SEC is about like Georgia, Bama, Texas, Tennessee, even. And I mean, they got a ton of talent, dude. When you have all that talent, if you put it together and the team is functional, the coaching staff is functional, that team could be dangerous, dude. End up being a playoff team.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you this: SEC ain't missing out on no big money game. Georgia, LSU in the conference championship, calling it right there. Hey, that's the conference championship right there, bro. I think that's big money for the conference, and we done seen what these refs is willing to do to make stuff work. So yeah, Georgia, LSU. Boom.
I want to give my pick for the SEC championship too, but you already said it, so I'm just gonna. I think it's gonna be those two teams.
Yeah,
because I don't think Georgia's gonna lose another game this year. I feel like Kirby Smart has got them playing pissed off, and we'll get into that team later because that's gonna be a problem. But LSU is that, like I said, I said it before the USC loss, dude. I think they can make it to the SEC championship game, and both the teams that go to the SEC championship game are going to be in the playoffs. So somebody's going to have to deal with that LSU team in the playoffs, regardless of whether they beat Georgia or not.
Facts, man. Hey, you heard it from Terry, man. But we got to go ahead and get to our conference, man. The Big Ten, getting to the Big Ten, there are a lot of teams that I feel in the Big Ten that actually have a shot at it. And, someone was going through this right now. You have Indiana and Oregon are the only undefeated teams in the Big Ten conference. No, Penn State as well. Penn State is undefeated in the conference as well. They don't even have a loss. So you got three of the top 15 teams in the country right there, right? So you got to start with Indiana, Oregon, Penn State, but then you also have Illinois with one loss, Wisconsin with one loss, Ohio State with one loss. That's a lot of teams, bro.
Hey,
Like,
and the way the conference is set up now, things could really get muddy, dude. Like, I heard people talking about how Ohio State doesn't control their own destiny for the Big Ten championship already. So, like, there's other teams. Well, obviously, if teams, sir, hold on, let me think about this real quick because I'm getting mixed up on my words. The way the schedules play out, there's multiple teams that could win out that would keep Ohio State out of the Big Ten championship completely. And like I think Wisconsin, Illinois, and that's it. It's Wisconsin and Illinois, and then you have like obviously your Oregon, Penn State, those teams, but they do end up playing each other. So obviously they're going to get at least one loss there, because you have Penn State. Penn State playing Wisconsin, right? So one of them, they're both in contention right now. One of them is going to get a loss this weekend.
I think that we have learned from the Big Ten for years now. You know, if Ohio State goes ahead, take care of business, win out, only has one loss, they not keeping the Buckeyes out of that Big Ten championship game. I can promise
they'll
you
bend the rules. Yeah. They'll do something.
Yeah, they definitely will. So I can promise you that. And then also, they're going to get it. They'll put it out. How can we deny a team that went, on the road, beat Penn State, if that happens, and then also they beat Indiana, right? So I mean and then the only team that they lost to is a team that they should be facing. So by 1 point. So if you do the point system and all of that, let's go.
So what you're saying is that if Ohio State wins out, it don't matter what else happens. They're making sure Ohio State gets in the Big Ten shit. They need to. I agree with that.
I mean, here's my thing. Who gonna sell, bro? You think they ain't been missing Ohio State viewership, bro? You think?
Oh, for sure.
And then do you understand the viewership of an Ohio State and Oregon rematch? And guess what? We're at prime time.
Oh yeah, that might be nuts. I agree.
The Big Ten championship is prime time,
and there's not a bunch of other games on either.
I'm telling you, they're not about to miss out on that, bro. If Ohio State take care of business, they'll be in, man. But so like we said, I think that's a lot of teams. We got to go on over to the ACC, and here I just feel like it's a 2-team race. But in that conference, you have Clemson undefeated in the conference. Miami undefeated in the conference. SMU is also undefeated in the conference, and Pittsburgh is undefeated in the conference.
So, see, I need to do my homework on SMU and Pittsburgh to see if those two teams how I think they will fare against Clemson or Miami. I've watched and followed more of Clemson and Miami. So I'm going to agree with you and say those are the two contenders for now until I get to watch the other teams because they may have just played really bad schedules. So,
and then it's like Miami avoids them. That's the thing.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing. Like Miami avoids them.
Or they should have already lost 3 games. But
well,
hey,
Gmo told us about that defense, and I don't see it in that defense at all, bro. y'all getting 30 put up by Rudy Poo teams that's actually basketball programs, man. Come on, man. What are we doing out here? But anyways, I think that this is going to come down to Clemson and Miami in the ACC championship game, and What do you think about that? Because I honestly think Clemson has been hitting their stride. And like I was saying, like the Miami defense, I don't really think that it is there. And I think it's going to be about who would get more stops, and I think Clemson will be able to get more stops on them.
Yeah, I think you're right about it coming down to those two teams in the ACC championship game. I mean, I do think that Miami could still slip up and lose a game they're not supposed to lose, but I don't think that would keep them out of there. I, Dude, I think if those two teams play for the ACC championship, I'm going to take Miami to win that game. Because I think that Miami has kind of what it takes to win big games this year. They have playmakers all over the field. They got playmakers. Now they're not going to be consistent. They're not going to shut a team down. They're not going to do so. They're not going to like play completely clean game on offense. They're going to turn the ball over, but they got playmakers all over the field. And I think that's the type of team that will give Clemson problems, to be honest.
Here's my thing. What teams really capitalize like on them turnovers? You know what I'm saying? Like Clemson got a defense, bro. Like, and we already know, like, I like Cam Ward, but he be doing some risky stuff. And it's just like now when you getting them talent equated games, like we saw with Ohio State, bro. Like you turn the ball over, you don't win the turnover battle. One of them can just mess you up in the game. We seen it in the Alabama-Georgia game. We just seen it in like the Texas game. Like once the talent is equated, you can't be doing that stuff.
No, I agree with you there. And I mean, I think Clemson kind of does some of that stuff too. I think they make a lot of mistakes. Like if you watch Clemson, they're not like a clean football team, like who doesn't make mistakes and, but I just think Miami has playmakers. That's where I'm at with it. Give me a Cam Ward to go down and get a game-winning drive against Clemson, as opposed to I can't even think of Clemson's quarterback's name, but
Klubnik.
Klubnik, yeah, Kate Klubnik. There we go. Give me Cam Ward to go down and drive his team down the field to win a game in that situation than a guy like Klubnik and those Clemson wide receivers.
Yeah. Well, moving on to the Big 12, man, I really think that a lot of people think it might be a two-team race, having BYU undefeated on the season, undefeated in conference, same with Iowa State as well. Mm-hmm. But it's like not so fast, right? Because Kansas State only has one loss in that conference. Same with Texas Tech, Cincinnati, and Colorado as well. Now all of those teams that I named, they do have 2 losses overall, but the way the Big 12 is, most of the time you basically almost play just about everybody. And I mean, I think that chaos could be waiting around the corner, right? So I think what's going to happen is a lot of these teams, Terry, or a lot of these conferences are going to have some big decisions to make because they're going to have to end up picking it instead of like the little system picking the conference championships for them.
Yeah, it's going to get sloppy over there, dude, with all those teams. And I would have to do more digging into like how their schedules play out to see if they're all going to play each other coming here late in the year, which will kind of, obviously it'll determine who should go where if they all play each other. But I mean, that conference is competitive, dude. I feel like all those teams are like the same team.
Yeah.
If you were looking at them on a national landscape, I know I've seen BYU. I honestly haven't watched all of those teams play. Like SMU, I haven't seen them play. To be honest, I need to get up to speed with them. But I've seen BYU. They look pretty good. BYU is part of the Big 12 now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I'm getting up to speed a little bit on my Big 12. I don't study the Big 12 too much.
See, the Big 12 was overtaken by the G5 schools, that all moved up. So you have, BYU went up in there, Houston went up in there, UCF, who else? And Cincinnati. So you had all of those teams move up in the Big 12. Which is why they do have some. So like they don't obviously like play every, each other like all, but they play majority, or that's what the Big 12 has been known for for playing mostly each other. And I think that it's probably going to come down to, like we were saying earlier, BYU, Iowa State, Kansas State is what I think is going to come down to. So,
Uh, if I'm giving my winner the Pac-12, or I mean the Big 12, sorry, Kansas State. Give me Avery. Give me Avery. Will Howard's predecessor or whatever. I think they've been hitting stride, man.
See. Man, that is not what Buckeye fans want to hear, man. So
no, dude, come on, man. Not to take us off subject of the Big 12. Will Howard's been balling. I mean, listen, for what Will Howard was when he came here, I'm taking us down this rabbit hole for just a second, Mike. For what Will Howard was when he came here, he's played to like his absolute ceiling. I feel like
yeah.
I don't think he's going to play any better. I think he's going to play about right where he's at. Maybe he'll play better, and we'll consider it better if he just doesn't make like the one or two mistakes that he's made every single game. The Oregon one was a huge. That fumble was big time. That we needed that to not happen. So maybe he'll cut those out and he'll look better. But I mean, I got no issue with Will Howard, dude. He's been balling.
Bro, like I said, man, Will Howard has came here to do what they asked him to do, and that's be Will Howard. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is how I feel, especially about like quarterbacks. It's like when you've gotten to this part, unless you have been battling injuries and not gotten a chance to play, I feel like you are who you are. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I agree, but hey. I like who Will Howard is. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I think he's a baller, and I like that he's got some shit to him. Like, he'll score, and he's going to let you know about it. You know what I mean? He'll get in people's face. So, I don't know, man. I'm glad we got Will Howard here. Just wanted to say that.
Facts. All right, man. So, Terry, man, best G5 school out here who's going to make it to the playoffs. I think we can all agree because the only school that anybody can talk about, is it even the school or is it the player? Boise State, Gentry, man. And the only loss that they have is a close loss to Oregon, right? So, I mean, at this point, it's like, who are you taking over them right now? As long as they go ahead and win out.
If you watch Boise State play, Jinty is not even like their whole offense either, and he's been going stupid. But dude, they be throwing the ball downfield, and they got some wide receiver talent and stuff over there. That team's gonna be a problem for somebody in the playoffs because that's going to be the G5 representative. You know what I mean? Right. And they're probably going to get screwed. Well, not really screwed because they're in the G5, but they're probably going to get. Yeah, they're probably going to get screwed because they're probably going to come in as the 12 seed, just because of Yeah, they'll probably come in as the 12 seed, which is going to automatically put them up against the 5th seed, which per the way the college football playoffs works, the 5th seed is probably going to be a better team than like the 4th seed anyway. You know what I mean? Like if a team wins the ACC, but the 5th seed is a one-loss Oregon, who went undefeated, and then Ohio State beat them in the Big Ten championships. Now they're the 5 seed. They're going to be better than the winner of the fucking ACC. Yeah. You know what I mean? So they may end up getting screwed in that way, but still, I'm interested to see them against one of the big time teams in the playoffs, dude. Because Jinty is crazy, and if he has, a couple games where he goes off for like 250 in the playoffs, they can make a run.
And this is what I was saying. I was like, even let's say you don't make it to the playoffs, right? Mm-hmm. Basically what you was kind of saying. You don't make it to the playoffs. You kind of get, or you don't make it to conference championship. That's your bye week.
Yeah.
That's your bye week.
Exactly.
If you don't make it to because here's the thing, man. That conference championship game, I want to see how the committee treats it, bro. Like, does the conference championship game harm you? Does it help you, man? And
I'm curious to see that. That is very interesting because if you go lose the conference championship game and then have another team in your conference who didn't make the conference championship game jump you because of that, I don't know. That's kind of Well, but I guess if you play a game and lose it, they have to use it as a data point. You know what I mean? Like they can't not count that. So that's a good point you got. We'll have to dig into that more on our next next episode, kind of how that might play out.
Facts. And before we go ahead and get out of here, man, best 2-loss team, give me yours.
Oh, snap. Best 2-loss team, Alabama.
Alabama, man. You could have went with Vanderbilt. You could have went with Ole Miss, but I pick Bama too, man. If anybody, they got the talent to right the ship, man. But they could be that team that's sitting there at 13 if they don't hurry up and clean this stuff up, because that's what everyone is going to talk about. And this is what can actually break the whole system of college football of what we have, and where you can see the SEC and the Big Ten separating is if you put a G5 school of Boise State in over at Alabama. Woo! I can only imagine what ESPN do.
It's going to be a problem. That automatic G5 bid is going to be crazy because, like you said, when you have a 3-loss Alabama sitting at number 12 and they get booted out for that G5 team that just automatically gets a bid just because, it's like, oh, no.
Yeah.
That's going to get crazy.
Yeah. But everybody, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Terry, let the people know where they can find you.
Yep. You see it at the bottom of the screen, man. CFB_stop on Twitter. Catch me on here. Catch me on Best Damn Media as much as I can be, man. That's it.
Yeah, man. Make sure you hit that like. You can follow me at 216_Wildboy. And with that, man, we are Welcome to the Fans Ed Sports Show. Thank God I'm not a Florida fan. Just out here